Sylvester's papacy is inseparable from the figure of Emperor Constantine the Great. For 21 years, one of the longest reigns in history, they worked to transform Rome. While Constantine provided the funds and the land, Sylvester provided the spiritual vision. Under his watch, the landscape of Rome changed forever. The Lateran Palace was gifted to the papacy, and the foundations were laid for the original St. Peter's Basilica over the tomb of the Apostle, St. John Lateran, and St. Paul outside the walls. Yet, Sylvester was a man of humility. When the landmark Council of Nicaea was called in 325 to combat the Arian heresy and give us the Nicene Creed, Sylvester was too elderly to attend. Instead, he sent legates to represent the authority of the Holy See, ensuring the unity of the faith from afar. Now, if you live in Brazil, Italy, or Germany, you might associate Saint Sylvester with something unexpected: running. On December 31st, thousands participate in the Silvester Road Race. It's one of the most famous street marathons in the world, started in São Paulo in 1925. But did the Pope himself run? Historically, his running was for survival. Tradition tells us that during the persecutions, Sylvester had to flee Rome and hide in the caves of Mount Soracte. He wasn't running for a medal, but to protect the papacy. Legend says he only returned when Emperor Constantine, suffering from leprosy, sent for him to seek healing. Today, these races are a beautiful tribute. As St. Paul wrote, "We are all called to run the race of faith." Sylvester did exactly that, transitioning from a fugitive in the mountains to the shepherd of a new, Christian Rome. Because historical records from the 4th century are scarce, beautiful legends filled the gaps. The most famous is found in the Golden Legend. It says Sylvester slew a dragon that lived in a cave under the Capitoline Hill, whose breath was poisoning the city. In Catholic symbolism, this represents the Pope's victory over the breath of paganism. Another famous story is that Sylvester miraculously cured Constantine of leprosy through baptism. While modern historians suggest Constantine was baptized later in life, this legend highlights a spiritual truth: the deep connection between the conversion of the empire and the ministry of the Holy Father. Sylvester died on December 31st, 335. He was proclaimed a saint by acclamation, the early church's way of recognizing someone whose holiness was undeniable. He is often called the first formal administrator of the church. He took a scattered, persecuted community and gave it a structure, a liturgy, and a home. Pope Saint Sylvester reminds us that even in times of massive cultural change, the Church stands firm. As you celebrate the new year, remember the Pope of Peace who helped build the foundations we stand on today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into church history, hit the subscribe button and join our community. Who is your favorite early church saint? Let us know in the comments below. God bless.